They said no woman in the entire village could satisfy him. And they were right. Every wife he took fled in fear before dawn, screaming, breathless, trembling as if they had seen a spirit. But Bushi was no monster. He was a man of strength, charm, and innocence, cursed by a promise made long before his birth. From the quiet hills of eastern Nigeria to the whispers of the gods themselves, this tale isn't about lust. It's about fate, guilt, and the power of promises left unfulfilled. What would you do if your destiny was chained to a forgotten vow, one that could destroy everyone who dared to love you? Before we uncover the truth behind Bushi's curse, make sure you hit that like button. Subscribe and share this story with someone who loves African folktales filled with mystery, love, and lessons from the ancestors. Every click helps keep these timeless stories alive, so let's dive in together. In the quiet hills of eastern Nigeria, where palm trees sway like dancers to the rhythm of the wind, lived a young man named Bushi. He was the kind of man that made heads turn. His skin was dark and smooth like polished ebony, his muscles strong and proud from years of farm work, and his smile, rare but bright, could silence even the village gossipers. Women whispered his name at the stream. Men clapped him on the back, saying, "That one will make a fine husband someday." And truly, Bushi was every mother's dream for her daughter. He was respectful, humble, and hardworking, a rare combination. But fate has a strange way of twisting blessings into burdens. Bushi's mother, Mama Bushi, had raised him alone. His father died before he was born, leaving her with little more than a hut, a small piece of farmland, and an unshakable faith in the gods. She poured every drop of her love into him. "Respect women," she always said, "and wait for your wedding night. Purity brings favor." Bushi listened, obeyed, and grew into a man whose heart was as strong as his body. When the time came, his eyes fell on Shaw, a beautiful young woman with a quiet grace. The first time he saw her carrying a calabash of water on her head, her steps so balanced they seemed to float, his heart stopped. He told his mother, "That is the woman I will marry," and he did. Their wedding was a celebration that lasted deep into the night. Drums thundered. Women danced. Men shouted praises. Bushi's mother wept tears of joy. When the moon climbed high, the villagers sang the old wedding song. May love be sweet. May love be strong. May love bring many children along. But when the music faded and the firewood burned low, that's when the story changed. In the silence of the bridal hut, Shaw's laughter turned into cries. Within minutes, she ran out barefoot, shaking, her wrapper half loose. "Mama! Mama!" she screamed, her voice trembling. "He wants to kill me. I can't keep up with him." The old woman rushed out, confusion written across her face. "What is it, my daughter?" Shaw stammered, breathless. "He doesn't stop. He's like fire. Can't satisfy him." Mama Bushi's eyes widened, her mouth dry. "Ah, my son." Bushi came out moments later, his face pale, his body trembling. He didn't understand what had gone wrong. "Ma, I only did what you said to love my wife." But Shaw refused to listen. She threatened to return to her father's house. It took tears, begging, and promises to calm her down. She stayed, but her heart was no longer at peace. Days passed, weeks. Each time Bushi came to her, the same thing happened. Shaw screamed, cried, and fled. Soon she could take no more. One morning, before sunrise, she packed her things and left the marriage behind. The news spread faster than Harmattan fire. Shaw ran away. They whispered. She said, "He's not human." At first, the villagers laughed. Then another woman, Nene, bold and beautiful, stepped forward. "Let me try," she said. "Maybe Shaw is weak." Bushi's mother warned her. "Child, be careful. Something is not right." But Nene only smiled. "He's too strong. Maybe I'm the one who can handle him." Their marriage came quickly. The night came even quicker. And before the moon was half its climb, the same scream echoed through the night. "He's not normal," Nene cried, bursting out of the hut. "He burns like fire that never ends." By morning, she too was gone. Now fear gripped the village. Women whispered. Men avoided Bushi's eyes. They began to say he was cursed or worse, possessed. The same man who was once admired now walked alone through the market, his head down, his heart heavy. Mama Bushi couldn't bear to see her son's pain. She took him to the herbalist, an old man who read destinies through cowrie shells. The man studied Bushi quietly, then smiled and said, "He is healthy, strong. There is no sickness here." But when they returned home, Mama Bushi's heart remained troubled. She could feel it deep inside. Something was wrong. Not with her son's body, but with his spirit. And as the moon waned, the whispers grew louder. No woman could handle him. No wife could stay. Yet somewhere beyond the horizon, the gods who had watched silently were beginning to stir. The past, a past long buried, was about to return. Because every curse begins with a promise. And every promise, when broken, demands to be paid. The night was quiet, but Mama Bushi's heart was loud with guilt. She sat by the fire, staring into the dancing flames as if they might whisper answers. Her son, her only child, had become the talk of the entire village. The same women who once dreamed of marrying him now crossed the path when he passed. Bushi sat beside her, silent. The pride in his eyes had dimmed, replaced by confusion and shame. "Mama," he said softly, "what did I do wrong?" Her chest tightened. "You did nothing, my son. This is something beyond you." The next morning, she made a decision. "We are going," she said, "to the neighboring village, to see Baba Ugwu, the one who speaks with the gods." The path to Baba Ugwu's shrine was long and quiet, lined with trees that seemed to listen. When they arrived, the old man was sitting before a small fire, his beard white like river foam. He looked up, his eyes sharp yet kind. "Sit," he said. "Tell me why the gods have brought you here." Mama Bushi spoke through trembling lips. "My son, no woman can stay with him. Every wife runs away in fear. We have tried everything. Medicine, prayers, herbs. Nothing helps." Baba Ugwu closed his eyes. For a long moment there was silence. Then he began to hum an ancient tune, one that carried the weight of forgotten ages. He threw a handful of cowrie shells to the ground, their clatter echoing like thunder in a cave. When he opened his eyes again, his face had changed, was no longer soft but grave, almost sorrowful. "You cannot cheat the gods," he said finally. Mama Bushi frowned. "What do you mean, wise one?" The old man's gaze met hers, piercing and cold. "Do you remember the promise you made before he was born?" Her heart stopped. The words hit her like a lightning bolt. "The promise," she whispered. He nodded. "You and your husband went to the shrine of the deity of fertility. You begged for a son. The priest told you the gods would grant your wish. But in return, you must sacrifice 3 cows when the child was born. Do you remember?" Tears filled her eyes. She remembered. She remembered. Her husband had died before they could fulfill the vow. In the chaos of grief and poverty, she had pushed the promise aside, convincing herself that the gods would understand. Baba Agu's voice deepened. "They did not forget, woman. And they did not forgive. Your son bears the burden of your broken vow, the desire that consumes him. It is not human. It is divine punishment." She fell to her knees, weeping. "Please, Great One, what must we do?" "The gods are merciful," he said, his tone softening. "Fulfill your promise. Bring 3 cows to the shrine of fertility. Offer them, and your son shall be freed." The next morning, Mama Bushi sold a small piece of her land near the stream, the only land her husband had left her. With the money, she bought 3 strong cows and led her son to the shrine. The air there was thick with incense and silence. The priest came out, his body painted with white clay, his eyes heavy with wisdom. He chanted as the cows were led forward. The drums began to beat slowly, like the heartbeat of the earth itself. When the final cow fell, a gentle breeze swept through the shrine, cool and calm. The priest smiled. "It is done. The gods have accepted your offering." Mama Bushi closed her eyes, tears streaming down her cheeks. For the first time in years, she felt peace. But for Bushi, the true test was still to come. Days passed, weeks. He tried to speak again to Sha and Nene, to explain, to apologize, but both had moved on. Fear had built a wall between them that words could no longer break. So he left the village. In a neighboring land, he met a woman named Aphora. She was unlike any woman he had ever known, strong, confident, and kind. When he told her about his past, she didn't laugh or run. Instead, she said quietly, "I do not live by what others say. Let me see the truth for myself." Those words healed something in Bushi's heart that no ritual could touch. Their wedding was small but filled with laughter and love. As night fell, Bushi hesitated, fear flickering in his chest. But Aphora touched his hand and whispered, "Don't be afraid. You're free now." And for the first time, the night was calm. There were no screams, no tears, only peace. When morning came, sunlight streamed through the window, warm and golden. Bushi smiled. The curse was gone. News spread like wildfire. "Bushi has found a wife who stayed," he said. Women came to Aphora asking, "How did you do it?" She only smiled and replied, "Love is not a competition. I accepted him for who he is, and he accepted me. That is all." The villagers learned an old truth that day. That love, when honest and patient, is stronger than any curse. Bushi and Aphora lived long and happily, raising children who carried both beauty and humility in their hearts. And Mama Bushi, until her last breath, reminded them all, never break a promise to the gods, for they never forget.